Ayo, what's poppin'? When it comes to recreational substances, it turns out quite a lot of them originate from nature. Plants with psychoactive properties have for thousands of years been used for medicinal and ceremonious purposes. These plants
and fungi.
are known as entheogens, and today we are taking a look at one of the more obscure ones. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the purple flowered plant shrouded in mystery, whose leaves produce some of the strongest and strangest psychoactive effects known to man. Here is Salvia Divinorum. Salvia Divinorum, more commonly referred to as just salvia, is the most common plant containing the salvinorin A molecule, the primary producer of its psychoactive effects. Native to the cloud forests of Oaxaca, Mexico, salvia has been used by indigenous Mazatec shamans in traditional rituals for many years. The Mazatec people see the plant as an incarnation of the Virgin Mary and start each ritual with an invocation to her, Saint Peter, the Holy Trinity, as well as other Christian saints. The participant is also advised to be in a silent place during ritual use, as Virgin Mary is said to speak with a quiet voice. Take that as you will, I just found it pretty interesting. The respect and ceremonious nature shown by traditional shamans when it comes to ritual use of drugs is something that has always fascinated me. And when it comes to drugs as powerful as salvia, I can definitely understand why it is treated with such respect. Salvia is one of, if not the weirdest drug in existence. It's hard to even classify it alongside any other drug, and there are arguments for it belonging to the dissociative, psychedelic, or even deliriant classification. Although none of these seem perfectly accurate, and it is simply classed as a hallucinogen, a broad group of substances with the common denominator of being able to create altered states of consciousness. Essentially, it just says that salvia is a drug that lets the user trip. Let's get into the effects and try to get a better understanding of what this means in practice. The strongest effects of salvia that give it its reputation are produced when smoking the leaves or stronger extracts of the plant. There are other mild effects that can be produced from other methods of ingestion, but the powerful effects produced from smoking is what I will be going over today. What is known as a salvia breakthrough. So you're sitting down, bong in hand. You have just finished your invocation to Virgin Mary, and you put your lighter to the bowl and start inhaling. You take your first puff. Nothing much yet. Second puff. Your vision starts going weird and shaky. With another final inhale, you clear the rest of the bowl, and your vision starts going black, or even splitting into multiple images. As you exhale, you feel a great force pulling you downwards. No, upwards, sideways, folding in directions you didn't think possible. A sense of dread might overcome you at this point. Where am I going? Why did I do this? You may start laughing as your sense of self erodes before you. Who am I? Your vision starts to fill with complex visions of a new place, world, a new dimension. You travel deeper into this world as you rapidly forget everything you ever knew about the real world. In this new world, you may become a new person, object, or even an abstract concept. And in the moment, you may believe this to be your very existence. You belong here, in the wicked universe of salvia. This is all you have ever known. Snap back to reality, oh, there goes gravity, oh, Slowly at first. You fade back. The environment around you starts to take normal shape. You start to remember what just happened. It could feel like a really long time has passed, an eternity even. But as you come back, you realize that you're a human being on Earth. You just smoked salvia. It's gonna be alright. A sense of relief may come upon you as you remember your favorite TV show, your friends, family, and eventually, yourself. The trip only lasted a few minutes, and as pieces of the madness you just witnessed are replaced by your regular memory, you return to normalcy. Welcome back. So yeah, that was my attempt at a reconstruction of a hypothetical salvia trip, because I think it's really the best way I'm able to try and describe this indescribable phenomenon, and what it is like to most people. Of course, this is not uniform to all trips. With a drug like this, there are so many wild experiences that can happen, but they will generally follow a somewhat similar pattern. If you've heard of DMT before, You could somewhat compare it to a DMT trip, except that salvia will generally cause more distress, paranoia, and anxiety. And I would even argue that salvia trips are often more alien and detached from our human world than DMT ones. While DMT trips will often relate to human conditions, your subconscious, the human world, and draws on those things to create the trip, similar to how other psychedelics do, salvia I would describe more as an expedition into the chaotic unknown. High doses of salvia are also basically guaranteed to cause confusion and a total, temporary loss of your own identity, while on DMT trips you can be incredibly lucid and have your sense of self relatively intact. In D&D terms, salvia is chaotic evil, while DMT is chaotic good. Salvia is a legal substance in many parts of the world, and while it tends to be relatively safe physically, as in it won't kill you from an overdose, it can be very scary, and possibly a traumatic experience. It is also somewhat common for people to move around on salvia, even on breakthrough doses, where in some cases people will act out the movements they believe to be happening in real life. Therefore, if you ever plan on doing salvia, it is very strongly advised to have someone you trust look after you while you trip. This makes sure you're not running into a wall, out a window, stabbing yourself, or downloading Genshin Impact while tripping. Having someone be able to calm you down after the trip can also be good if you had a bad experience. In general though, I don't advise doing salvia because of how downright terrifying it can be, especially with the time dilation that can make a 15-minute trip feel like a 15-year pilgrimage to whatever this place is supposed to be. It can also make you feel detached and depressed for a while after the trip has taken place. As with any drug, make sure that it does not interact badly with any medicine you may be taking, and like any other hallucinogen, if you are suffering from a mental illness, especially ones on the spectrum of bipolar disorder and schizophrenia, probably stay away from salvia entirely, as it can worsen your symptoms. Salvia is genuinely one of the weirdest and most powerful hallucinatory drugs out there. It truly can take you to another world. Due to its widespread accessibility and legality, it has become somewhat popular as a recreational drug, and while I can definitely see the appeal, I would hesitate in diving headfirst into this powerful substance. If you ever do decide to use this drug, make sure you're not just doing it because it's legal and you're able to. Have some prior experience with an altered state of mind beforehand, and definitely take a page out of the Mazatec Shaman's book when they say to treat it with the utmost respect. And with that said, I wish you a good rest of your day in the real world. Like if you want, subscribe to get notified. Too easy. Oh, and if you have a specific substance you'd like me to cover, let me know in the comments. Stay safe. Peace.